Now to an incredible story. A New York man is being called a hero for a daring fire rescue, all caught on tape. Check it out.
The smoke was so thick that when firefighters arrived, they could barely make out this little boy inside. Christopher's family says they're just grateful everyone got out all right, thanks to a good Samaritan.
He's a hero.
Isn't that something else? That Good Samaritan used his newfound fame to make another life-changing move. On a network morning show, Oria Creighton proposed to his girlfriend Desiree, and she accepted. Isn't that nice? Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here at 4:30. I'll be joining Nicole for the 5 o'clock, and she's here now with a preview. Hey, Nicole.
Thanks, Matt. Up next here on our news at 5 o'clock, if you are a betting person, what odds would you give Chicago to win the 2016 games? We checked the lines in Las Vegas to see how we stack up. The holiday job market may be scarce this season, but one big retailer is still hiring. And he left Wall Street to run for a special cause. Another inspirational story from the Bank of America's Chicago Marathon. News 6 at 5 starts right now.
Now, this is News 6 at 5 in high definition.
First at 5, in just a few moments, the president takes off for Copenhagen in a last-ditch pitch for the 2016 games as Chicago gets ready for a big bash. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Nicole Marks.
And I'm Matt Whitney in for Kamala Mofisi, who is off today. President Obama departs from Denmark at 5:30 Chicago time and is expected to arrive in Copenhagen at 8 o'clock a.m. local time, 1 a.m. Chicago time. He will only spend 5 hours in Denmark to give a final presentation to the IOC. Then he and Michelle will leave before the final vote. Earlier this evening, Mayor Daley, Oprah, the First Lady, and the King and Queen of Spain appeared in an opening ceremony celebration at the Royal Opera House. The day began with former Olympians telling IOC members why Chicago is the perfect city to host the games.
Back here at home, city leaders are planning for an Olympic-sized celebration. The city is getting all decked out. Take a live look at Daley Plaza, where tomorrow's Olympic Bash is planned. News 6's political reporter Marianne Ahern joins us now live with the latest. Marianne?
Good evening to both of you. It does seem that everyone has an opinion on whether the Olympics. The IOC likes to pick an American city every 10 years. We'll see. Reporting live, Marianne Ahern.
I guess everyone is getting pretty excited.
Yeah, the city's buzzing today.
All right, thanks so much, Marianne.
Some of the city's hotels are feeling the Olympic spirit, literally. Today and tomorrow, Chicago's Ritz-Carlton and Four Seasons hotels will offer Olympic-spirited cocktails. You can get Olympic bronze, silver, and gold drinks or patriotic red, white, and blue cocktails. If Chicago gets the bid, the drinks stay on the menu until the end of the year. And place your bets. Bookies say Chicago's taken the lead in the tight race to host the Olympics. The reason? President Obama's star power. But bookies warn Rio is not far behind. If you can recall, the favorite doesn't always win. For the 2012 Olympics, Paris was supposed to beat London, but London won. Stay with News 6 and News6Chicago.com for complete coverage of the IOC decision on Friday, October 2nd at 1:45 in the morning. We will have a live special coverage of the Chicago 2016 final presentation and the news conference right after that. Then beginning at 9 a.m., live coverage of the IOC vote and announcement ceremony.
Now to some of the other top stories we are following today. A 14-year-old boy is in critical condition after being severely beaten in the Edgewater neighborhood. Witnesses tell police that he was being chased by 3 or 4 other teenagers and then hit on the head with a pipe. Police are now searching for suspects. Several stores are damaged after a fire rips through a strip mall. It started this morning in the dollar store and then spread to a few other businesses. The strip mall was not open at the time. The cause of the fire is under investigation. And Patty Blagojevich files a lawsuit today against the homeless charity that fired her. The former First Lady says that Chicago Christian Industrial League is defaming her. The league accused Mrs. Blagojevich of using their donor list to promote her husband's book. She denies those accusations and wants an apology. The lawsuit also seeks monetary damages.
Damaging testimony as James Degorski's trial enters its sentencing phase. Degorski is convicted for the murder of 7 Brown's Chicken employees. Today, his former girlfriend says he once kidnapped her and threatened her life. News 6's Charlie Wojciechowski reports.
Kristen Smith says she dated James Degorski when they both worked at a pizza, deciding if they will sentence him to death. Their only other choice is life in prison with no chance of parole.
Testimony in the sentencing phase will continue tomorrow at 26 in California. Another former girlfriend is expected to take the stand, as well as Lockett England, the same woman who opened this case by going to police.
And nearly 5 years ago, the life of federal Judge Joan Lefkow took a tragic turn. She came home to find her husband and her mother murdered. She spoke little about the tragedy publicly, but today she opens up and discusses a book of her mother's poetry. Miriam Brooks has details.
Though she smiles, there is a sense of sadness about Judge Joan Lefkow.
Important part of the healing for me and my sister who helped me with it. Well, we helped each other with it.
Donna Humphrey's book of poetry, I Speak of Simple Things, is available in bookstores now.
Amazing story. Up next, Saturn is shutting down, so what happens if you own one of their cars?
Michael Vick picks up a major sponsor, or does he? We'll explain.
He was making big money on Wall Street, but he traded it all in for a special cause. One runner's story from the Chicago Marathon.
And it's been a dreary day outside as rain moves through the area. What will it be like for the viewing party tomorrow? Your weather forecast is coming up later. And a live look at Daly Plaza, as you can see, they are getting ready for a big celebration there for our Olympic decision, which is coming tomorrow. That is the place to be, I think.
A few raindrops out there now. We are hoping that clears up by tomorrow. We'll find that out in your weather forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
That doesn't scare us, though.
No, it doesn't.
And to other news on this day, there are reports tonight that a high-tech radar will be brought in to survey the ground at Burr Oak Cemetery. Crews are working to reopen the grounds after authorities discovered a grave-selling scheme with hundreds of grave sites unearthed. There is still no timetable when that cemetery will reopen. In cause for celebration for a group who have cared for the elderly for more than a century, Jian Jugan founded the Little Sisters of the Poor in the 1800s. Today, the group prepares for more than 13,000 elderly people across the globe, many of those right here in Chicago. A week from Sunday, Jugan will become a saint during a mass and ceremony led by Pope Benedict XVI at the Vatican.
And it's telling all of us, yes, you're doing the right thing. Keep on going and take care of those old people as good as you can. And that's what we try to do.
Those sisters make you smile. The delegation from the Little Sisters of the Poor in Chicago is heading to Rome for the canonization.
Confusion in the advertising world today. Nike denies reports that the company made an endorsement deal with Michael Vick. The sports apparel company dropped Vick after learning of his involvement in a dog-fighting ring. Yesterday, one of Vick's agents say they reached a new deal now that the quarterback is out of prison and back on the football field. But today, Nike said they only had an agreement to supply him with their products, and there is no endorsement contract. Saturn dealerships across Illinois are struggling with the news that the brand will soon be extinct. A Saturn executive in Schaumburg says he first heard of it on the news, and he said he did not receive any communication from Saturn or the parent company, General Motors. The sentiment was echoed by dealers across the United States. GM is discontinuing Saturn after talks of selling the brand to Penske Automotive Group fell apart.
If you shop at Target, don't miss our story coming up.
And holiday jobs may be scarce, but one major retailer is hiring.
And later, gorillas can tweet.
A big retailer is hit with a big fine. Target is being penalized for allegedly reporting and selling toys with high levels of lead paint in 2006 and in 2007. As part of the settlement, Target will have to pay a $600 fine, but admits no wrongdoing.
It could be hard to find an extra job for the holidays again this year. Nearly half of the country's biggest retail chains will have to hire fewer people than last year. NBC's Randy McElwain reports.
At one time,
so you can't give up.
In a Wall Street Journal survey today, about a third of retailers expect to see big declines in holiday sales this year.
A bad start to the month of October on Wall Street today. It was a negative across the board. The Dow fell 200 points, the Nasdaq shed nearly 65 points, and the S&P 500 dropped 27 points. Bad news in manufacturing and the labor market overshadowed a rise in consumer spending.